Mary Moore Searight Metropolitan Park in South Austin has more than 300 acres of land for people to enjoy. But the woman it's named for died from a brutal attack a few years after it opened. On August 18, 1996, Searight, who was 86, was found in her Paris, Texas home by a caretaker. She had been sexually assaulted, beaten, and strangled. She was airlifted to a Dallas hospital where she died 3 days later. The case went cold for more than 2 decades. Now DPS says they believe 54-year-old David Paul Cady Jr. is responsible. He was indicted by a Lamar County grand jury last month. Searight owned and rented out several properties in Paris, including some on the same street she lived on. Cady, who was 25 at the time, was one of her tenants. DPS says he was interviewed by police at the time. He tried to hide a cut on his hand and kept changing his explanation. Investigators got DNA from his hand, but nothing came of it. In 2021, Searight's case was tested through the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, funded by the Department of Justice. They help agencies across the U.S. with unsolved sexual assaults and homicides. 2 years later, in 2023, Cady's DNA was also submitted under the program, and Searight's DNA was found on the swabs from his hand. In February of 2024, he was arrested, though he was already in the Hopkins County Jail for another crime. He is still behind bars. Searight's contributions are still seen in Austin. Documents from the Austin History Center show she came to Austin with her family in 1939, when her father, W.R. Moore, was appointed acting Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court. The following year, she married Austinite Dan Searight, the head of the Walter Tipps Hardware Company. The family bought a ranch, and after her husband's death in the 50s, she continued to manage it, later turning down multi-million-dollar offers because she wanted to see it become a park and not a development. In 1988, she made a deal with the city where they bought 88 acres, and Mary donated 206 acres of the land. 2 years later, the Parks and Rec Department got $500,000 to develop it. Mary Moore Searight's name lives on.